We spent 4 nights at the Vinpearl Resort in Hon Tre Island in Nha Trang in a 3-bedroom villa, and wowza! In this episode, we're reviewing this hotel and island to see if it's worth it with kids, so stick around and let's check it out. Hi, I'm Danny, mum of 2 and creator of Vacay This, where we turn our family travel moments into real life learning adventures. And welcome to Vinpearl Island, Nha Trang. The resort is located on Hon Tre Island and easily accessible by fast boat, which only takes about 5 minutes or so to get across, or the cable car from the city. This was a big hit for us. Arriving at the hotel, you arrive at the mainland check-in. It is a massive check-in. It's for visitors and people staying on the island. You arrive there, you check in as you would any other normal hotel. They take your bags, they get you a drink, a welcome drink to sit and relax and take in the atmosphere. For us, I think my kids were running circles between the chairs, so not really relaxing. We were waiting to be able to board that boat. Once you get to the island, there are multiple buggies waiting to take you to your relevant resort. There are a couple of resorts on the island, and the buggies do have the name of the resort on them, so make sure you get on the right one, otherwise you might be doing laps of the island. And they take you straight to your hotel. You can get the buggies are accessible between each part of the island. So the marina where you come in on the cable car and the fast boat, that has eateries, that has some activities, that's got one of the shows there. Absolutely fabulous and something to do. Bizarre, but amazing. That's in a whole nother story in the Vietnam overview, so check that out. But it's also got Vin Wonders that is there. So there's another buggy that can take you to Vin Wonders, and it's got the resorts, obviously. The villas. This is what my wow comment was about, because that is my words as soon as I walked into this villa. We stayed in a 3-bedroom villa, and my gosh, it was huge. Double story, bigger than my house, with one main bedroom downstairs with a full ensuite. It had a full kitchen, dining table, humongous lounge area that overlooked your own private pool, overlooking the ocean. A massive deck outside where they had deck chairs and some lounge areas. Perfect place to sit down and relax and just to enjoy the day in your own private villa. Upstairs had 2 bedrooms. These bedrooms were humongous. You could fit 2-3 rooms in this one room. Both of the rooms had their very own en-suites, which again were huge, 2 en-suites in one. Lots of closet space, easily could fit 2-3 people's clothes in each one of those closets, and balconies that overlooked your own private pool and the water. This villa was amazing. If you are looking at this resort, you'll see in the main picture where they advertise it that they've got kind of all the villas down kind of one row. That is how it was. I think we stayed in maybe the villa 3rd from the end, I think. So it was quite a hike to actually get back to the main resort area. They did have the buggies. Again, I think we spent our whole trip of Vietnam in buggies. But again, that was really easy. You just give them a quick call and they will come and get you, and they'll pick up people along the way who's called them as well. In the main hotel was big. It had your towers, so if you opted not to get a villa and you wanted to stay in the resort, that's where you would be. It had a big resort pool, a little pool with some plastic furniture, which they enjoyed. It had a beach bar that overlooked the water. The beach we didn't swim in at the resort. It looked very calm, and more of a bay feel. Also too, in the main resort is where they had things like the gym, your conference suites, your spa, also the kids club. The kids club was great. My kids loved the kids club. The staff, I want to say, did look a little unenthused to be there, but the kids didn't take any notice. They were having the time of their lives. There are quite a few activities. You've got your crafts. They had some little cars that you can go around. They had your dolls. They had the games, etc. So enough for the kids to do and to stay happy. Though if you're traveling with kids, the biggest draw here would be the access to the marina and to Vin Wonders. Vin Wonders is a theme park that they have on the island. It's so close. It's a quick buggy ride away. It has rides, safari, a water park. It's a big highlight especially if you have the older kids. Again, my kids were a little bit younger, so the water parks, most of the rides were limited for them. A big highlight though here for us was getting to feed some giraffes. So make sure you do some research if you are planning on going and you do want to experience that. They have the feeding times listed, so making sure that you are there. I think it was a couple of bucks to get some food and then to be able to feed them, and we got some incredible photos as I'm showing you now. One of the main restaurants in the main area of the resort is where they had your buffet breakfast, and they would do things like your theme nights as well. Breakfast was great, although it did probably cater a little bit more towards the Vietnamese and the Asian dishes rather than the Western dishes. Totally fine. I usually travel with a tub of Vegemite, so my kids are covered anyway. But yeah, that's probably what I found in comparison to some of the other hotels that I stayed at. It was a little bit less of the Western food. Still had all of your basics, your savories, your fruit, your hot dishes, your noodles, your soups, all that kind of stuff. So it did cater to everyone, just a little bit more on the Asian and Vietnamese dishes. The theme nights were also fantastic. We opted in for the barbecue themed night. They had so much different types of meat. The smoked meat was my favorite. I think my husband had about 3 or 4 plates of that smoked meat. From what we saw, the theme nights were worth it. Again, as always with these hotels, when you are paying for those kind of services, they are more expensive than outside on the street. But we were on an island, and the closest was the marina, and that was 2 buggies to get to. This just seemed like an easy decision. The marina is not that far away on the island, and it has convenience stores, so you can get your basics like your chips and your crackers and your drinks and your soft drinks, all that kind of stuff. It's not a big supermarket, but it's more of your convenience style. The pros and cons, again, let's get into our real talk. The pros is definitely being on an island. You are on your own island. It feels secluded. It doesn't feel like you're in a touristy destination. The villas, I think my wow comment really takes the cake there, because these were gigantic, huge, and freaking, you felt luxurious staying in these villas. The other thing would just be close to amenities. So you're close to the marina, close to Vin Wonders, where you would usually spend a couple of days on your travels anyway. So if you're staying on the mainland, you'd probably spend a couple of days on the island. So it's good to be able to stay there and be nice and close to them. The cons, I get into this a little bit in my full Vietnam recap video, it's very bizarre, is my word of the day for Nha Trang. It doesn't have that real cultural feel. It's very fake, in a most respected way possible. You just don't get that natural Nha Trang Vietnam feel when you are on the island. And you are on an island, so you are that little bit secluded. If you are looking for that cultural immersion, I probably wouldn't stay on the island. You would just go there to do your activities. Would I do it again? If I was to go back to Nha Trang, I would probably split up my time. As I said, my kids were quite young, so the activities we didn't get to completely do everything. So if I was to go back, I would stay a couple of nights on the island and then a couple of nights on mainland. I wouldn't probably need any more time than that for Nha Trang. Again, I go into this a little bit more in the full Vietnam recap. But I would definitely split up my time. I just feel like I didn't get any cultural immersion from Nha Trang, but I don't want to miss out on the activities. So I would probably do the best of both and split up my time. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this helps you plan your epic Vietnam adventure. Be sure to check out the Vietnam playlist. There is more videos on things to do, things not to do, activities to do, places to stay, that kind of thing. And remember to subscribe and like the video, and we'll see you again real soon.